Welcome back to Brashonomics. I am your host, Ben Brashen, and we are here joined by Eric Robison, good friend of our show, one of our frequent guests, and a true expert in the real estate market. Well, Eric, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, so let's dive into this because, we just talked to Aubrey about the rising house prices, the lack of inventory, all the things that are going into that. And now we're in this fall kind of winter market that, people have to navigate.
Yes, they do. It's kind of an interesting time. It's not your typical fall, but in many ways it's still the same as usual. And that there's a lot of nervous sellers out there right now.
What makes them so nervous?
I'm talking about the ones that have been on the market a while, maybe a month or more. They're starting to get a little nervous because they know we're going to go into the holiday season, and we're always told there's less buyers out there. People are focused on holidays, not so much on buying. That will add more time on market. So what we're seeing right now is, I'm seeing it every day. A lot of homes that have been on a while, they're all dropping prices. They're all dropping prices right now because they're hoping to get an offer in before Thanksgiving. Because by Thanksgiving, that's when you start seeing homes pulling off market.
So it seems like there's probably some nervous sellers and buyers knowing that Thanksgiving is just a few weeks away.
I'd say the nervousness is more in the sellers. The buyers, they might be thinking about, what am I going to make for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, and not so worried about where they're going to make it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the buyers, they're definitely out there. There's more buyers out there right now than we normally would see in the fall. And because of that, I think you might see some sellers holding on a little longer, trying to keep that home out there. But also, it's a good time if you're brand new and you're a hot house, I'd put you on the market. You will sell.
Yeah. Talk about why would people take their market or their house off the market, during the holiday season?
Well, it's, market time. The longer you're in the market, the older you get, less people consider you a good house because of the market time. It's usually because of price. So their agent's going to advise them, let's just take you off the market because November, December, January, it's pretty slow. And they want to take them off at least 90 days. If you're off the multiple for 90 days and you relist on that 91st day, you go back on market as a brand new listing with 1 day on market. It doesn't count all that previous time of maybe 4 months that you sat on the market. We can, as realtors, go in and look at the history and see it has been on in the past and we put the pieces of the puzzle together really fast. But it does shine a little more on the multiple as new inventory to all those buyers that are just coming on the market. They're seeing this as, it's been on 1 day. It's hot.
The people who are just, who are perusing whatever website they may be using.
Right. I mean, buyers that I've worked with through the holiday season or in the early fall, they'll look at them and say, oh, yeah, you're right. That's back.
I've seen that house before.
Yes.
But now it has prettier pictures and it's sunny.
Right. Exactly.
Let's go see it again. Eric, so what's going on then for buyers then during the holiday season?
Well, usually things normally they slow down, and I expect it will slow down somewhat this year too. But the difference we're seeing this year is that because of the low inventories all the way through summer and even so more so now in the fall, we do have a lot of buyers who did not buy, who typically would have if the inventories had been up. So they're not stopping. They're not, they're going to enjoy their holiday season and stuff. They're waiting. They're waiting for the right home. But in the same sense, they're looking. So, I'm still pulling up, whatever's new on market and giving them reports, showing them what's out there. And we're still looking at homes. And so it can work to the advantage of that seller out there now who's thinking, well, I'm being told, let's wait till spring because that's when all the buyers are going to be back. Well, you got a lot of buyers out there now, and they're hungry for a house, and they would like to get in one now. So it might be better for you to think seriously about listing now while the inventories are low, because come spring, you'll be one of many, whereas right now, you could be the one.
Right. So, you talk about buyers who are looking for a while and waiting for new inventory, and if people list now, they may be that new inventory. What about people who are worried about holiday seasons, though? Maybe people don't want to screw up their Christmas. I don't know.
Well, yes, you do hear that. As I I always tell them, well, yeah, maybe this Christmas is a little bit different, but make fun with it. Do you want to sell your house? Do you want to move in your house?
You can always close later too, right?
Right. I mean, once you've got a deal worked out, things can be worked around. I mean, I have a deal that we just pulled together this week. The buyers really wanted it to be closed by December 13th because they want in before the holidays. And the sellers, they were trying to say, well, I'd really like one more week to get it together. And I said, come on here. These people have met all your demands. Let's work with them on this. You're moving. Let's get started. You have 5 weeks. And they thought about it, and they thought, you're right. We can do it. We can get out.
It sounded like they wanted to just be there another week.
They just wanted another week because in their mind they thought, well, we're going through Thanksgiving. We need another week. And I had to explain, well, normally you'd have 4 weeks. You've got 5 weeks already because we've anticipated that week with the mortgage broker of making sure they have time to get things done. Sure. So, that to me, that's not a big, hard negotiations working around moving in, moving out around a holiday. What's the big negotiation is getting the deal to come together.
Well, and it sounds to me like one of the things you're saying is everybody has the holiday season. Of course, there are other stresses,
right?
But you're still working. It's people working with people, and you'll have your contract, but people are willing to be understanding on. Of course, you're not going to close the day after Christmas or New Year, the day after New Year, or whatever it may be. People are receptive and understanding, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everybody at that, that little time period, they don't really want to be dealing with that moving thing. So on both sides of the coin, they don't.
Yeah.
So they're going to work with it on that.
People are too hungover on New Year's Day to start moving furniture, huh? We're here with Eric Robison, managing broker with Keller Williams. So, Eric, what's really unique this year? Then rather, the holidays come every year, but maybe in the real estate market this year is unique.
Well, the uniqueness this year is the low inventory, which everybody's talking about, because we do expect the inventories to be lower now and slower, but they're drastically lower. We're, about a third less than maybe a year ago, and we have more buyers than ever coming out because the interest rates are low. So it's given this real, the sellers just have not stepped up. They for some reason, and it could be that maybe they feel they're still underwater or they're caught by the fact that, prices have been rising and the people are buying and they just weren't ready for it because they were thinking next year is when they're going to go on the market. But that's the problem. We have the buyers. We just don't have all the houses. There are houses out there and they are selling, but generally it's not to say they're a bad house. It's just they've been on a market and there's issues with it. And it could be, generally it's going to be priced. The buyers are smart. They're not going to buy it if it's overpriced.
So is there a real reason? I want to get back to this kind of days on the market thing as we go into the holiday season. Is there really an issue with days on the market, or is it perceived? The house doesn't change.
Right. There's a lot of psychology in real estate. There you can talk logic, but then there's all this emotional stuff that goes on the side. It hasn't gone
stale, right? It's not like a day-old donut. It's the same friggin' house it was 6 months ago.
Right, but to buyers, it's that whole adage I want to buy what's in season now. I don't want to buy last year's fashions.
Right.
So it's kind of the same way in real estate. You start to become old inventory, you kind of get lost. And yes, a new buyer comes on, and yes, they're going to look in that whole area and you're going to pop up, but they're going to see, oh, you've been on the market at 120 days. This is 2 days on the market. This is hot. This one looks great. Generally, if you look at these older inventories, you're going to find that they missed the mark. They went on way too expensive, and they didn't find the right buyers for their price point. So they're slowly getting down. And when they do get down to that right price point, the buyers who are going to look at it, they're still going into it thinking maybe there's something wrong. It's been on the market a while, and it probably will. It'll sell. But those buyers are going to come in and they're not going to offer you that price that you would have got had you gone on at that time, because at that point, when your
guess
old inventory, you get a sale.
I mean, right? Mentally,
price.
it is day old donuts. It's
Right.
day old bread, right? It still probably
Right.
tastes the same. It still is the same thing, but it's got the little orange sticker that says, "Hey, I might be a little bit less expensive today."
Right, exactly.
Eric, thanks so much for joining us. We do have to go to break again. Eric Robison, managing broker with Keller Williams. Actually, stick around for a little bit. Let's continue the conversation when we come back with Heather Moore. We'll be right
All right.
back after
Thank
this
you.
break.